Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your January 2020 general readings. We are looking at the first half of January from the 1st through the 15th. Welcome to everyone, welcome to newcomers, and welcome back, followers and subscribers. Thanks for all that you do for supporting this channel. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday season and are looking forward to a brand new year. This is the very first general reading of the year. Now this reading is for the earth sign of Taurus. That's Taurus sun, moon, rising if your Venus is in Taurus, or excuse me, if you are cross-watching for a Taurian as well. But as many of you know, general readings always resonate a little differently for everyone. So if you know your other signs, rising sign, moon sign, Venus sign, watch those as well. It can be helpful in providing additional clarification. And if any of you are interested in reaching out for a personal one-on-one reading, either for yourself or as a gift for friend, family, or loved ones, you can click on the description link below for more info and contact details. You'll see my email address there. You can email me directly at maggie_McGuire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. I do offer a wide variety of readings in all the main areas of life. And you may want to check out the 6 and 12-month overviews that I do, which take a look at the next 6 or 12 months of your life and what's coming up. People order them at all different times of the year, but I always get a lot of requests for them around this time of the year as we're looking ahead at a brand new year. All right, let's move right into this reading. Again, this is for the earth sign of Taurus. Taurus sun, Taurus moon, Taurus rising, or if your Venus is in Taurus, for the first half of January. And for those of you who need to know, I am using the Gilded Tarot from artist Ciro Marchetti. Okay, Taurus, let's see what the first half of January has in store for you. We begin with the Hanging Man, followed by the Ten of Cups. We have Temperance, followed by the Two of Wands. And from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy and focus for the first half of January is the Seven of Pentacles. So it looks like a lot of you are taking stock, evaluating. The Seven of Pentacles is a card that represents taking stock, evaluation of what you have, the efforts you've put into getting where you're at, and perhaps any decisions you want to make moving forward. Do we want to reap this harvest as it is? Do we want to make changes, take what we can and leave, etc.? Pentacles is governed by the element of earth, which is your element, Taurus. And in the tarot, Pentacles usually represents the physical structure of our life, how stable, the things in the physical structure of our life that make us feel safe, solid, stable, secure, or the efforts we put into acquiring those things. So often Pentacles can represent things like money, finance, property, real estate, assets, job, long-term stable relationships, marriages, friendships, etc. This could be, taking stock of where you're at financially or materially and trying to make a decision on moving forward. You can see that it's harvest time on this card. This woman is getting ready to pick the harvest, but she hasn't picked anything yet. She's kind of evaluating what she has and asking herself or himself, should I take what I can and move on to a different crop? Should I abandon this and do something different? Can I make it a better crop? Are there changes that I can make? Because we're at a 7 here, which implies that you have a pretty decent amount for the effort you've put in. 10s represent cycle completion, so you may want to ask yourself, am I satisfied with having it be a 7 and not a 10? Is there a way to get it to a 10? If not, are there decisions I want to make to change it? And it looks like, at least for the first half of January, there's a lot of energy here that represents just kind of not taking action or making any decisive actions right now because you're taking your time and thinking about what to do. We have the Hanging Man followed by the Ten of Cups. So here we have more contemplative energy. The Hanging Man hangs upside down from what is the wheel here. Sometimes he's depicted as hanging from the tree of life, the tree of knowledge, in order to gain more knowledge. It can sometimes be an uncomfortable or awkward place to be in. But it can represent making a minor sacrifice now in order to have greater gains later on. Because one of the things you can get by this is getting a different perspective. And sometimes this can represent holding back from an action you would normally have taken, or rushing in to do something in this situation that you normally would have before. But for now, you're kind of holding back because things are still in flux. Things are still playing out. You may not know everything yet. There's a situation that you're watching unfold. You're trying to gain perhaps a different perspective while doing so. And it's one that Spirit supports. And most of the time, this is a relatively transitional period. It doesn't tend to last too long. And it looks like you're utilizing this time wisely, because we do have, again, more contemplative energy here by taking stock and evaluating. It has something to do with home, family, or property of some kind, because what clarifies the Hanging Man is the Ten of Cups, which is a card traditionally nicknamed the happy home card. Tends to represent cycle completion, fulfillment, something coming full circle. Cups is water energy, and in the tarot, this is the energy of our heart, emotions, feelings, relationships. This is a card that represents feeling like you've come to a place where everything has finally come together, particularly where home and family are concerned. It's a card that can represent marriage and weddings, childbirth, the actual property of your house. One of the things you may be evaluating here is perhaps this has to do with a house structure or piece of property itself, one that affects you and perhaps you and your family. It could be deciding what to do about your property or about your home, the structure of your home. Perhaps you're, evaluating, perhaps you're deciding, you're trying to think of perhaps refinancing it, taking out a second mortgage. I kind of get the feeling something has happened to put you in the position where you're thinking about what to do. I think some of you may be thinking about actually wondering if you should hold on to whatever this happy home or house represents for you, or whether you should let it go or not. If it was just the Seven of Pentacles, I would say it's maybe a more practical, concrete decision as to what to do about, your home, your family. Some of you, this could be maybe you're thinking about getting married. However, the Hanging Man implies that there is a situation currently playing out which you are watching. You're not making any decisions yet. You're watching, kind of gathering information. I'm actually going to pull a clarifying card for this Hanging Man, Ten of Cups. What is this about? Because I feel like something has occurred. We also have Temperance, which represents keeping your balance, particularly emotional balance, or working very hard at keeping your emotional balance while you're trying to figure out what to do, what decision to make about something that involves and affects your home and family, your happy home, or the house itself. Oh, well, we have the Tower card here as a clarifier. The Tower card usually represents an unexpected event which comes in out of the blue. It's represented here by a bolt of lightning and shakes you up to right down to the ground. Sometimes it can represent the breakdown of something. Sometimes it can represent, a life-changing event like winning the lottery or something like that. A lot of people tend to kind of seize up when they see the Tower card, because often, although not always, but often the Tower card represents the shaking up or breaking down of something in order for it to have an opportunity to transform, or for something to end in order for you to move on and build something that is truly solid, stable, and reliable. But this looks like something that's happened really unexpectedly and has left you feeling perhaps quite shaken up and quite vulnerable. We have a Wands, a Cup, and a Pentacle. So in terms of elemental energy, we have some fire, some earth, some water, and 3 major arcana cards. So whatever this is that's happening or that's going on for you, Taurus, it's pretty impactful. This is a pretty significant event that's happened, and it has to do with your home and family. For some of you, You know, perhaps something has happened to the actual physical structure of the house itself. Perhaps there's been, you know, maybe some kind of damage done to the house, and you're trying to figure out if it's worth, you know, with this contemplative energy, you're trying to figure out if it's worth, you know, putting the money into fixing it or restoring it. It could be that something's happened perhaps with a mortgage or finances in regards to your home that was unexpected. And again, you're trying to figure out what's the best way to move forward, gathering information, kind of waiting to see how things play out. You know, however, the Ten of Cups does imply that this is more of an emotional situation than just about the property itself, because if it was just about the property itself, often this would be the Ten of Pentacles instead of the Ten of Cups. So it does imply that it may have something to do with the people that live in this home, with the dynamics of your happy home life. Perhaps it's around relationship or marriage where something unexpected has happened, and it's a situation which is still playing out. We have the Eight of Cups. I pulled another clarifying card. This is a card that represents turning your back, leaving and walking away, or seriously considering doing so because you find something ultimately disappointing and unfulfilling. And this is also water energy, cups. So I feel like this has to do with for some of you, this may be, you know, perhaps there's a significant relationship or marriage that's rocky here. Perhaps, I mean, because this is a general reading, and sometimes these kind of cards can be rather tricky because it's going to mean different things for different people depending on what's going on in your life. Fundamentally, something has happened to kind of really seriously, you know, shake up, rock the boat, perhaps the breaking down of what you previously had thought was your happy home environment and situation. This is a situation which is still playing out, it's still in flux, and you're kind of watching and waiting and evaluating. We do have Temperance and the Two of Wands next. Temperance is about keeping your balance, particularly your emotional balance, and not allowing your emotions, even though they're probably quite strong, not allowing your emotions to be the thing that solely dictates your actions and your decisions, not rushing in and making choices and taking action that you might later regret. It's like being in the middle of a seesaw or teeter-totter, and the outside arms represent the things that you don't have control over, perhaps the situation, other people. When you're staying in the middle and staying grounded and not letting your emotions pull you out of that one side or the other, you tend not to lose your balance, even though you may have to shift and adjust to what's happening. So it represents kind of staying grounded and not being spontaneous or emotional or overly emotional, in that your emotions dictate everything that you do. Temperance is clarified by the Two of Wands, which is about being at a crossroads and trying to make a decision on what to do, which is all over this reading. It's all about kind of this hanging back, watching things play out, contemplating, what do I do? This is all the energy and work and effort that I've put into what I consider to be my happy home atmosphere, whatever that means for you. Is it worth continuing to invest in after this big shakeup? Should I just let it be and go? Or make a move to, if it's a relationship, separate, etc., whatever that means. The key to choosing the right path in the Two of Wands is in making the decision based less on what's going on around you right now and more on long-term thinking and planning. What are you wanting in the long term, and making decisions that best move you forward in that direction, which I think, Taurus, you're exercising the best of your slower, steady earth energy, and you are taking your time to kind of watch, gather more information, evaluate what you've put into this versus where you are now and what is possible moving forward, whether this is something that you need to allow to continue to break down and be free from it in the future, or whether this is something that can be healed or fixed or resolved or transformed in some way. And I think you're actually doing that now. So let's pull some advice and guidance for you, higher message from Spirit, as to what is the best way for you to navigate through this situation for the first half of January. We have the Four of Swords here, which is another card about pulling back temporarily from whatever the source of the conflict is, as represented by the swords. And his own sword, and swords are air energy. It's all about what goes on up in our heads and also our belief systems, ideologies, and how we communicate those outwards. Swords can represent communication, words, and ideas too. So these swords represent the source of the conflict or whatever has happened, this Tower card energy for you. His own sword, which can be representative of perhaps your own actions, your own words, what you want to say. This is lying close by his hand should he need it, but for the time being, he's not engaged. It's typically a very temporary card, as the Hanging Man is, because he's still girded for battle. He's removed his helmet and his hand gauntlets, but he's still girded for battle, which implies that he's taking a rest right now. He's stepping back to rest, recuperate, recover, gain a different perspective. There's a sense of feeling tired, and I think that's a good idea as well, because when we're in the midst of a situation and we're feeling tired, worn out, exhausted, stressed out, emotions are running high, it's never a good time to make a decision if you can help it, because our perspective is not all that clear. So it's about taking a step back, perhaps going away for a little while, retreating while you kind of recuperate, gather your thoughts, your energy, take this time to take a little bit better care of yourself and continue to kind of watch and evaluate how things play out, because I don't think, at least for the first 2 weeks of January, this is time to make a decision. And again, the Hanging Man does indicate that you may not know everything yet, Taurus. Things are still playing out. Yeah. So Taurus, that is your reading for the first half of January. I hope that you found it helpful in some way. Again, if you are interested in reaching out for a personal one-on-one reading, particularly if any of these videos resonate for you, just click on the description link below and feel free to email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. I do readings full-time, 5 to 6 days a week, sometimes more. So I'm pretty diligent at working with people's schedules to get readings out to you or scheduled with you in as quick and timely a fashion as possible. And I can usually respond to your initial inquiry the same day or within the first 24 hours. So I look forward to hearing from those of you who would like to do so. I'll see you all again in a couple of weeks for the January 2020 mid-month readings. Until then, I hope everyone has a pleasant and peaceful start to this new year. Take care, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.